So hey guys, welcome back to our channel Brainvira. Now today's video is on how to assemble a PC. So we have already uploaded one video on troubleshooting laptop. You can check in the description, that video is given, or you can refer our iCard. There you can get the link to visit that. And if you like that video, please like it, subscribe it, and don't forget to comment. If you want to have anything to learn from us, or any suggestion if you want to give, please comment, and don't forget to share with your friends. I have motherboard of PowerX. This is PMB H61 model, and it has 3 years of warranty. So many of us may not aware of this brand, but for learning purpose I just bought this board. It has features like 2 DDR3 RAM slot and 1 PCI slot, 1 HDMI slot. So this one is quite good, apart from other brands which are very well known like Gigabit and other brands. So let's assemble this one using this motherboard. Let's see how the perform. So as I have already discussed the features of the brand, it is ready for Windows 10. We can install Windows 10 on this motherboard. So let's first install the processor. So as you can see, this is the socket, this is our processor socket. So we just need to remove this one and we have to leave this one. So this is the area where we have to put the processor. So I have i3 processor. Okay, so we have to check the notches. There are 2 notches. This is you have to check it manually. Okay, and you have to put this one in the socket very gently. You can find notches everywhere, and you have to put accordingly this notch. Okay, so be very careful. If you are novice or fresher on this one, you are not experienced on this one, don't try this. Otherwise you will end up with the damages. So that is very much costly for you anyway. So first we have to check in which direction. Just install this processor here. So you can see the notches, it's fixed. Okay, now I have to put the socket at its actual position. I just pushing it hard and just fix this. So you can see this processor is fixed now, it is not moving. You have to make sure all the things are in place. Okay, now you can see these 4 points, to hold the processor fan, CPU fan. Okay, so I have the CPU fan. Okay, so I will put this CPU fan here just over the CPU. Okay, so this CPU fan has 4 legs. So this is a clip based leg. If you can just rotate this motherboard, you can find these legs got entered in this hole. There are 4 holes I have shown you earlier. So on these 4 holes, these legs will come into. Okay, so we have to make sure all the legs are fixed. It is not yet entered properly, so we have to just press from the behind. So it will basically automatically inserted here, and your processor fan will be fixed. You have to make sure it is properly tightened. So as you can see, I have already installed the CPU fan. I have tied it properly, and make sure this holds properly, otherwise your CPU get hot, your temperature will rise. So you have to make sure all the notches are properly, all the legs are properly inserted in the motherboard. Now it's time to insert the CPU fan power. So for this you have to check in motherboard, because in the motherboard it would be clearly written. So what is this power section would come into? There are 2 sections, you can see this one. So one is for system fan, one is for CPU fan. So don't get mixed. Okay, so you have to insert it properly. So these notches are very much important, so you have to insert it accordingly. So you can see there are 4 holes and you have to insert it accordingly, otherwise your pin get damaged. You have to make sure this pin get inserted into these holes properly. Okay, so I am inserting his. So as you can see, this is already inserted. Now I just keeping it safe. These wires needs to be fixed properly, otherwise it would create problem for you. Just make sure it is properly inserted in the resting areas. Okay, so it is already inserted there. So now I can see these 4 legs are already inserted. I have inserted the power jack for the CPU. Now this part, this is the RAM part, we have to insert RAM in the RAM slot. Okay, so let me insert the RAM. I have a 4 GB DDR3 RAM, sorry, my mistake. So DDR3 RAM, so I will be installing this DDR3 RAM into this one of the RAM slot. Now it's time to install the RAM. Okay, so as I have shown you already, the DDR3 4 GB RAM I have. So I'll be inserting this RAM in the RAM slot, one of the RAM slot. You can see there are 2 RAM slots, so I'll be inserting. So here also you can see the notches. Make sure this notch is matching with your RAM slot. Okay, so I'll be exactly putting this RAM slot with this RAM. Okay, in the RAM slot I'm putting this RAM and I'm pressing from the both side. You can see my thumbs, I'm pressing from both side equal pressure. So you can find one sound here. If it is properly inserted, it will be locked automatically. You can see these 2 lock will automatically. When you want to insert, when you want to remove this from RAM slot, you just need to just push it behind. So RAM will be ejected automatically. If you want to lock this RAM, press from both, using your both the thumbs, just press and it will automatically lock. And this, as of now I have only 1 RAM slot, so I kept one of the RAM slot blank. Okay, so it would be empty as of now. Later we will be installing 4 GB RAM, so that is not a big issue. As per your ability you can increase your RAM. So this motherboard has a capacity to upgrade your RAMs up to 8 GB. So as of now I have 4 GB RAM. Later I can install another 4 GB. Okay, so let's come with the other part, that is my power supply. So I will be planning to check whether my motherboard has a proper display or not. I have one SMPS with me, so I will use the SMPS to check the power. Okay, so as you can see, I have I have an SMPS. This is one of the Intex brand. Okay, and this motherboard has 20 plus 4 pin SATA cables. Okay, so you have to just plug into these power cables in the motherboard. And as you can see there, this one and this one, these 2 input, these are the inputs you have to insert in the motherboard. Okay, you have to plug into your motherboard, and you can see here SATA, 2 SATA power given in the SMPS and 2 PATA power cable is given in the SMPS. So you can actually use 4 media, 2 hard drive or 3 hard drive, 1 DVD writer. So these 4 you can use accordingly. So anyhow you can use only 2 SATA media. SATA power slot is given as, because 2 SATA power cable is given, so you can use 2 SATA media. Now the question may arise, if you have 3 SATA media, in that case, suppose to say you have 1 SSD, you have 1 hard drive, and you have 1 DVD writer. In that case, what you will do? In that case, you can simply convert this PATA to SATA. There are power to SATA power converter cable is available in the market. You can buy from your local market and you can simply plug into. Okay, so let's first plug this bigger one. So I am just plugging this. You can see here one clip is given, and you just need to check here. So you have to plug like this way only. Don't just put in a reverse way, because it won't come in that way. It would come only this clip section. You have to check in the section where is the upper one, this one, the clip holder. So you have to plug like this. You can see here, this one clip. Okay, I'm just plugging in. You have to push it every time. You have to check whether it is properly plugged in or not. Otherwise sometimes it may happen that you have plugged in properly but power is not coming. Your motherboard is not giving the display. So question may arise, is your motherboard is damaged, is your RAM is damaged? No, sometimes it happens because you haven't plugged in properly. So this one, first one you have already plugged. So this one is 20 pin. Now I have 4 pin. So I will insert this smaller one, the 4 pin one. You can see here in the motherboard there is another point. Okay, same way you have clip. You can see here, you can use your finger to check, and here we can see in the smaller one there is it has a clip. So I will plug like this way only. So you can see it sounds very smooth if it's properly connected. You don't have to push too much because it's only 4 pin. Why I have suggested for larger one? Because it's 20 pin. So sometime it may happen, because you can see there is a separate section. If you remove this 4 pin, sometime power may not come. So based on your motherboard, this power section is important. Okay, now I have already, as you can see, now I have already plugged 2 power section which can give your motherboard. So as you can see, processor fan is installed, RAM is installed. I have already plugged in the powers. Now the time has come to check the display. So for that I just need to inform you one thing. This motherboard support both VGA as well as the and HDMI. So you can use any of the connector. For if you have HDMI connector at your monitor, so you can plug in HDMI. You can use this HDMI. If you don't have HDMI, you can go for VGA. As you can see, I have VGA connector. Okay, VGA, it shapes like D shape. So I need to check my motherboard, and accordingly I have to insert. See the shape and just plug like that way only. If you don't put in a correct way, see, you will end up with a different set. Okay, so you have to check the D shape and it will easily move on. Okay, it will easily. So just screw it up. So I have already finished the basic setup. Now it's time to check the display in my monitor. So I have ready with 115.4 inch monitor. So I will simply check the display. Okay, now it's time to check the display. So for that I will try to short this board. So this is a basic setup. People may ask this question, why I am doing the testing without inserting this board, installing this board in the CPU cabinet. It would be a good practice before assembling your board and other peripherals in the CPU cabinet, inside the CPU cabinet. Just check the display. It may possibly your motherboard doesn't have a display, means it has a manufacturing issue, manufacturing problem. In that case you have to go for replacement. Immediately go to the shop and replace this board. Otherwise you cannot install anything, you cannot check anything. So you will lost your time. Okay, so let's check with the how to short this board. I have a screwdriver, a very simple step how to check the display. In the board you can see some point is given. Okay, so this is your front panel, we call it front panel. If you check, it would be like written as F underscore panel. You can see here F underscore panel. So this F underscore panel is nothing but front panel. So here you can see 1 pin one pin is not there, it's missing. It's actually not missing, it's actually ground. It would be blank only. Okay, so now it's time to check the display. Okay, so you can see here the pins. One pin is missing. In the lower portion there are restart, there hard disk LED. Okay, and in the above section power button and the other power LED. Okay, so these pins are used for front panel various section. As I have told you, what I have told you, first two pin, after missing pin, these two pins are used for power button. When you switch on, when you press the power in the CPU cabinet, the power gets switch on using these first two pin. And after these there are two more pin. Those pin are for power light. Okay, almost everybody is experienced with the power LED. So whenever your system gets powered on, you can see the LED power is on. Either it's red or in blue, a different color. It's depend upon your CPU cabinet. Okay, and under that the pins are for restart button. These two pins are restart button. Exactly opposite to power pin you will find restart pin, and after that those two pins, rest two pins are for HDD LED, means your HDD is in use. So now let's come for power testing. So simply these two pin I have to short. Just after pressing the, you can see the fan is on. So this is called short. Okay, now you can see the display is already there. Okay, so already we have entered into BIOS. So this is our primary job, to test whether my processor is working, my motherboard is working, my RAM is working. So anyway, I can see the display has come, so I can assume that my motherboard is fine, absolutely fine, and it's working properly. So those who are not aware of the BIOS is nothing but your ROM. So those users, those person who are not aware of the BIOS is nothing but your ROM. So it keeps your basic information, what are the peripherals are connected. You can see one date time here. Okay, date time, system date, system time. This is automatically updated because of the CMOS battery in the motherboard. It keeps updated your date and time. So whenever you face like your date time is not showing properly in the system, you have to consider that battery already expired, CMOS battery. You have to buy it and replace the old one. You have to install the new battery, then your date time needs to reset. After that you will find your correct date time is showing. So this is BIOS, where you have to reset the date and time. You can follow my cursor here. If you want to change your date or time, you have to just go here and change the date. Like first one is your month. So right now we are in November, so you can just simply press plus from your keyboard and just change it. Okay, after that press enter. It will move to date. So today is 2019, sorry, so year is 2021. So my date time is already been configured. Now I will go to next one, system date and time. So time is at my watch is 16:00. So this is the date I already set up. Now I will go to advanced. So here, those who are not aware of the settings, how to change the advanced settings or how to configure the advanced settings, don't change anything, keep the system default. I would highly recommend don't change until unless it is needs to be changed. The only professional can change this one, and they can revert the changes if it is not necessary. I'm going to next one, that is chipset. This is also highly recommended. If it is not necessary or not advised to make the necessary changes to this configuration. Don't change anything, just keep it is as it is, just system default, don't change it. Now come to boot. Okay, so boot it is for how you are controlling your boot sequence. As of now I haven't connected any hard drive, so until unless I include any hard drive or any media, system won't show any devices. If you go to main, you will find nothing is given here because any media is not attached to this motherboard as of now. Once I attach this, it would come in the display list which one to first boot, which one not to. So let's continue with the hard disk attachment, and I will show you how to make boot sequencing and how to boot and how to install operating system in the media. Now let's assemble. So I have the cabinet, let's open it and set the things. So it's time for setting up the panel. It's a metal panel. Be cautious about this one. Don't get injured your fingers. So we have to fit this one to this side. Okay. So I'll gently try to set this panel from behind, from inside. Okay. So you need to do this precautiously. Safety precaution must, otherwise your finger get cut. So you can see panel is fit. So our next task is to fit the motherboard inside the cabinet. So I have ready with the motherboard, as you can see. Okay, so I will try to fit. You can see that these are the connectors. Okay, so each connector will automatically come inside this one if you set it properly. Okay, now I will show how to set it up. Okay, so you can see here, you can see this. So now I will fix this one. So you have to put this motherboard accurately. It needs attention. Okay, as you can see, this panel is locked. So sometimes, as it is a new motherboard, so you have to remove this part. This is for security purpose. So what I will do, I will remove this one, eject this one from here, and I will simply try to remove this lock part. These are given. Make sure your fingers doesn't get hurt. Okay, so what I am doing, I'm just removing these parts. By that my motherboard get fit into it. Okay, so as you can see, I have already removed that part. You can simply fold it and it will automatically get removed. Okay, you can see here this one also, but this one I don't think it can be removed here easily. Let it be. Now let me reset this one again. Okay, I have fixed it. By listening to the sound, you will understand this one is fixed. Okay, so now my next part is to fix. Okay, so as I can see here, all the connectors can be seen. Okay, so now I have to screw it up. So you can see now this screw part. Okay, I have to insert the screws and tightening the screws. Okay, be with me, I will assist you. Now it's time to connect the media. Okay, so I have 128 GB SSD. You can see it's a EVM SSD. So I'll be inserting this one into the cabinet. Let's see how to insert. So in my cabinet, in most of the cabinet you will find there is a slot for inserting SSD drive. So there is a slot you can find inside. So you have to see it is inserting or not. Okay, so these holes indicators, so you have to put the screws here and tightening this one. Okay, so I have 128 GB SSD and I have 1 TB WD hard drive. So I'll be inserting this one too, just to have the maximum capacity in my PC. So I'm just inserting this one also. So similarly, just like the above one, I have to check the connector. You'll find the holes to tighten the screws. Okay, so I will put the screws here and I'll tighten this one. Okay, now it's time to connect the media. Okay, so I have 128 GB SSD. You can see it's a EVM SSD. So I'll be inserting this one into the cabinet. Let's see how to insert. So in my cabinet, in most of the cabinet you will find there is a slot for inserting SSD drive. So there is a slot you can find inside. So you have to see it is inserting or not. Okay, so these holes indicators, so you have to put the screws here and tightening this one. Okay, so I have already inserted hard drive as well as SSD. SSD might not be visible at this time because it's less light. So you can see this is SSD and this is 1 TB hard drive. So I have to connect through SATA cable. So I have 2 SATA cables here. So generally the SATA cables are available in the motherboard box only. When you buy it, it will come with the box only. If it is not available, you can buy it individually. You can separately buy it from the store. So I have, just like in my case, I had one cable only in my motherboard, and I have bought separately another SATA cable. For safety purpose, you can always keep one SATA cable. Sometimes what happens, due to manufacturing issue, SATA cable get broken, you will find it's not working. So better to buy one extra. It doesn't cost much, maybe 30 rupees or 40 rupees it might be cost to you. So let's connect these cables with the hard drive and SATA. So as you can see, I have finished all the connections. All the wires are connected, well placed. I have connected power cable in both the cases, hard disks and SSD. I have connected the data cables, all the SATA cables, power cable from switch mode power supply means SMPS I have already connected, and everything are connected. And I have used tie just to arrange the wires. By that you can see properly. These wires need to be fixed at a place, otherwise it makes a jumble. Okay, so now I will check, I will cover all the things and I will check whether display is coming properly or not. This is the final touch, and after that we will be formatting the hard drive and we will installing Windows 10 and the other softwares. Okay, let's go. So we have already finished our assembling and all the cables plugs are connected. Okay, now I will try to switch on our power. Let's see whether it starts or not. Just switch on the power. Let's see. Bravo, display screen already came, and as you can see, this is a obvious one, this will come. So for this one I have to restart the PC and I just need to press del. So as you can see, BIOS, I have already came to BIOS. Here I can show you the boot sequence. As you can see, as of now, boot sequence is the SSD one, 128 GB. Okay, and you can see here hard drive priorities. So both the hard drive are showing right now. The first priority is the SSD one, and second the Western Digital hard drive, which is 1 TB hard drive. So now my job is to install the Windows, and from here we will start a new video, and I will show you how to install Windows 10 using a bootable pen drive. So keep watching our video, like our video, and don't forget to share with your friends and comment below anything, any suggestion or any query. Do comment us. Keep subscribe our channel, share with your friends, and as I promised, I will be sharing more videos on tech things, Windows installation, Windows troubleshooting, hardware assembling, lot of things yet to come. So stay tuned, keep watching our video. Okay, bye as of now.